By reporter Coletta Wanjohi. She's in Addis Ababa. Coletta, thank you very much for joining us. So there's been conflicting stories about the number of casualties. Perhaps let's start there. Do we have any idea at this stage how many militants were killed and how many AMISOM soldiers were killed?
The situation is still the same here in Addis Ababa. There is no one who's giving a definite number of the fallen soldiers. The Ethiopian government, to begin with, is not admitting that there are any soldiers from Ethiopia who are killed in the assault. And the African Union that is based here is also not giving a number. But we know that the African Union chairperson has given a statement giving condolence to the people or the families of those whose relatives who are soldiers were affected. So that tells us there was a number of people who were killed, but there is no one who's giving a definite figure. Al-Shabaab says 60. We have other parties saying 30. There was a report from Mogadishu in the morning that said 30, and we have another one saying 43 Ethiopian soldiers. So the situation is the same. There is no certainty as of the number of soldiers who were killed in the assault.
Is it clear exactly what happened? Because on Twitter we're hearing about explosions and then exchange of gunfire. Is it clear what actually happened?
The report that we have from reliable sources, that would be the African Union and other agencies, says that there was a suicide bomber who detonated his explosive laden vehicle at the gate of the Ethiopian military base, and that allowed other gunmen to enter the base, and that's where the assault took place. That is the situation we have. So we know there was a suicide bomber and there were gunmen. But again, we know AMISOM has said that, has called Al-Shabaab's claim an aspect of falsehood. AMISOM has said that, in fact, it is AMISOM that killed more soldiers or more militants. AMISOM says it killed more than 100 militants. The same figure has been given by the Ethiopian government. So only way there was a suicide bomb attack and there were gunmen. That's the situation we know at the moment.
Has AMISOM been able to explain? I mean, there must be concerns now, because it wasn't that long ago that Kenyan soldiers were caught up in a similar kind of action. And it would be a surprise for many that an army base or a military base would be attacked in this way.
According to AMISOM, if you talk to AMISOM and other security experts, especially those based at the African Union, they will tell you that Al-Shabaab are terrorists. So you cannot really know what a terrorist is going to do. So they base the Al-Shabaab attacks on just what they say are the last kicks of a dying horse. That's what AMISOM says, that Al-Shabaab is really striving to stay out there. And it says that AMISOM troops have really managed to conquer the Al-Shabaab militants. However, on the other side, we see Al-Shabaab trying to really show that they are still in power by attacking different military bases. So at the moment, AMISOM will still say that these are just acts of Al-Shabaab trying to show that they're still out there, but they feel that situation. Al-Shabaab wants to show they are strong. AMISOM says the troops of African Union in Somalia are strong. But we know that AMISOM is facing several challenges in Somalia. We have financial challenges. You know, the European Union has reduced 20% of funding from the AMISOM. So AMISOM has to grapple with these challenges. And also AMISOM has to grapple with the challenges of military equipment in order to face the Al-Shabaab.
I suppose it's too early to tell, but in this kind of situation, back at home, people might start to be a bit wary of having their soldiers as part of these forces beyond their borders. Is Ethiopia remaining committed to this mission in Somalia?
Yes, Ethiopia seems unmoved by the current attack on its soldiers in Somalia. It should be remembered that Ethiopia was the first country to send in, amongst the first countries to send in troops to Somalia when Somalia needed so much help. In 2006, 2007, Somalia went in with its own forces under its own budget of the national budget. So, and it only joined AMISOM in 2014. So Ethiopia is really concerned about the stability in Somalia, because Ethiopia has a good interest in Somalia, because any situation in Somalia, any security situation in Somalia would have a big spillover effect into Ethiopia. So it might, and this is the situation, Ethiopia has not mentioned at any time the aspect of removing its soldiers from Somalia, which is key in keeping Somalia stable, so that this other side of on the other side of the border, it also remains stable.
All right, and that's where we're going to have to leave it. That line was starting to deteriorate. Coletta Wanjohi, who's our correspondent, reporting from Addis Ababa. Of course, that story that's 160, 111, 60. The numbers are being disputed about militants and AMISOM soldiers that were killed in an army base in the central Somalia. But we'll have more details as they become available.